pregnant. Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It has been a little while since I've been active on here, and this video is basically going to explain why. So if you haven't seen my Instagram post from last Sunday, I am pregnant, and this conversation today is just going to be answering all of the questions I've been sent over the last few days. I am really nervous. I don't know, it's been a secret for such a long time that it feels so strange talking about it openly, but I think I just wanted to come onto YouTube to do this because I know that it's a topic that can be triggering for so many, and I just thought that if people don't want to see that content, they shouldn't have to be force-fed it, and I didn't want to bombard people on Instagram with it. Do you know what I mean? Before we get into the questions, I do just want to say that I have never been so overwhelmed with love before in my whole life. I was really nervous to share this news. I don't know why, I think it just felt really personal, and I was just so worried that if I got one bad comment I'd really embody it, and it's such a beautiful time in mine and Lewis's lives that I was so worried it might be tainted. And I know it's bad to expect the worst, but we do that as humans, and I've been on the internet long enough to know that not everyone's always going to be happy for me. But I had no need to be, because we've had thousands of comments and messages of people just so happy for us, and it was really overwhelming. I just think we both feel incredibly loved by this news, and as a result so does our little one. I wanted to say thank you for that, and thank you for sending in all your questions and just for being so kind. And then, oh my god, and then we announced on Sunday morning, and then I didn't know, my brother proposed to his girlfriend that evening, so we've just had a lot of good news in a short succession of time, and I have been sharing that on Instagram, and everyone is just sharing our joy, and it's been a really special time for our family, and I just wanted to say thank you before I get into the questions. That was a long intro, but let's get into it. So the main question that I got asked was it planned or unplanned? Now, I'll be honest, this to me feels like such a personal question, and even when friends or family have asked me this question, I've been really caught off guard. This is probably my own triggers or whatever, but I just think it's such a personal thing to ask someone, because to me, all I hear when someone says, oh, was it unplanned, was it unwanted? And I am so protective over this little baby growing inside me that the thought of anyone thinking that this baby is unwanted makes me feel physically sick. When people ask me this question, I say that it's very much a planned and wanted baby that we absolutely prayed for, but it has probably arrived maybe 3 years earlier than we expected. And the reason I say that is because I am also fucking hormonal, so if I cry or get emotional, I know that's part of my personality, but everything feels heightened at the moment. So jumping back, I had an eating disorder from the age of 14 before my period started, and it delayed my period, and I didn't start my period until I was 16, and then I relapsed and I then lost my period. And around the age of about 17, 18, I went into care for my eating disorder, where I was an outpatient that would come in for regular sessions. And during this time, the doctors actually told me that it was going to be very hard for me to conceive children because my menstrual cycle was so messed up. And that is something that I had always just naively expected was a given. If you wanted children, you could have children. And it was the first time in my life that I was told that I may not be a mum, and that made me so upset. So it feels very strange speaking about this to a camera, because I don't think I've ever actually spoken to someone about how I was feeling. At that time in my life, which was quite dark, I just suppressed everything. So I just suppressed the emotion that came with that news, and also just kind of didn't think forwards to the future, because I don't think I had the capacity to. But there was a part of me that absolutely hated myself for ever putting myself in that position where I may not be able to have children. And I know that not every woman's purpose in life is to be a mother, and I am in awe of so many women who have such a set mindset on the fact that they don't want to be a mother, but the fact that that option was taken away from me at such a young age really, really broke me. I think I managed to process those emotions and kind of not make peace with it, but just feel a little bit more at ease with it until I met Lewis. And then I was like, I want to have a mini him more than anything in the world. And my kind of instinct for wanting to be a mother grew stronger and stronger and stronger, but as did my fear of it not being possible. And every time I've done a question box since Lewis and I have been together, there has been at least 10 questions saying, when are you having a baby? Are you going to have children? And I've never vocalised it before, because I think my own triggers are kind of my own triggers to deal with, and I didn't want to vocalise it and be like, I don't know if I could have children, because it feels really exposing and really vulnerable. So I've never said that publicly at all. But I can't lie, every time I got those questions through, I was just like, I don't fucking know if I can, please stop asking me. And I know that everything was meant with such love and good intention and like the purest heart when those messages were sent, but there was part of me that really struggled with that whole process. So when we found out that we were pregnant, I honestly have never felt so calm in my whole life. And I feel like throughout my entire life from finding out that news, I've just had this constant buzzing and noise in my mind of what I need to do, what I need to achieve, and how I need to think about trying for a baby or saving for alternatives or whatever it might be. And the night that we found out we were pregnant, all I heard was silence. It is the first time in my life that I felt calm and at peace, and I just felt like this miracle had been given to us, this absolute blessing, and it was just the perfect time. And I think I have been so calm ever since, and we are both over the moon. Lewis is obsessed with the idea. I think it took him a little bit longer to maybe process the timing of it all. That's just me being really, really honest, but we are just completely overjoyed and couldn't be happier. Someone asked me, how many pregnancy tests did you take before you believing you were pregnant? I did not believe I was pregnant until we saw the baby on a scan. I took pregnancy tests, gosh, maybe once a week. We took so many the night we found out, and then I would just randomly take them because I didn't believe that I was pregnant, especially before like sickness kicked in and stuff. Lewis and I speak about our first scan as probably the best day of our lives. It was just the two of us in this room, and the moment the woman put the ultrasound on my tummy, this perfect image of this tiny little baby appeared on the screen, and both of us were just inconsolable, sobbing and just so overjoyed to see our little baby on the screen. And then even after that, because then it just felt like a fever dream, I would just keep taking tests just to be sure. And I don't even think it feels real now, to be honest. Lots of people have asked, when am I due? And again, this is something that we're not even telling friends, only because it's going to be such an overwhelming time, and I don't want people to be clock watching or ticking off their calendars. So I haven't said how many months along I am. I will say that I am over the halfway point, and we waited longer than the kind of 12 weeks to make the news public, because like I said, I wanted to be in this love bubble with Lewis and my family. We have actually made the decision to keep our due date private, so I'm gonna just say I'm over the halfway mark. Baby's arrival will be early 2025, but I just feel like it's a lot of people to know due date, which is so not set in stone anyway. Babies can decide they want to come early, or maybe you want to stay in for a little bit longer or be cooked a little bit longer. So I don't want people being like, oh, aren't you due this week? When I'll probably already be feeling a lot of pressure on my shoulders. I think I just need to protect my peace and our little family. I just don't want to add any stress to them coming into the world, and I just know that if I was getting messages from people that absolutely mean well, being like, oh my god, aren't you due soon? Everything would feel more overwhelming, so we've decided to keep that private, and I hope you guys understand. Do you know the gender? Yes, we do. We'll be announcing it soon. We do know the gender. That's all I'm gonna say. Have you planned the baby's bedroom? Absolutely not. We do not have a single baby item at all, other than a baby robe that my mum bought us and two teddies that Lewis's nan bought us. I have nothing. I am going into this situation so naive, but I'm hoping, do you know what? We had our excitement telling all our friends and family. We had the excitement telling all of you guys. Now we've got the excitement of Christmas, and then I'm hoping that early next year we will have time to just throw ourselves into everything baby related. Maybe I'm naive to think that's not going to take a long time, but yeah, that's the plan anyway. What's your favourite part of pregnancy so far? My boobs. No, I'm joking. They have come from nowhere. That's actually how Lewis knew I was pregnant. He looked at me once and I was just reading my book, and apparently he literally just went, because these boobs have come out of nowhere and I've never had tits in my whole life. I feel like Pamela Anderson, but that isn't my favourite part of pregnancy. I think it is genuinely, I have never felt closer to Lewis. I think our relationship has been beautiful and strong for such a long time, and I've always known that he is my person, and I felt committed to him for a very, very long time. It's why we have this house together and building this life together. But since knowing that there's something inside me that is half me and half him, I cannot explain pull towards him. Even if we're apart for a couple of hours, he'll still message me like, you okay? And he's just constantly on my mind, and I'd like to believe that I'm on his too. The connection that we have and the conversations that we're having about the future now feel so much more in colour than they did before. Like, we'd always spoken about our future and our ideas and our dreams, and it just felt like a dream world. I can't explain it, just like a bit of a fairy tale, but now it feels like we're living that fairy tale, and I think that is the biggest blessing, and also the joy that this baby has given to our friends and family. Like, some of my best friends who are just going to be known as aunties, and all of our family, we just constantly say this baby has brought them all so much joy, and that brings us so much joy as a result. So I think that just the connection to others has been the most amazing part of pregnancy so far. Thoughts on marriage. Now, we've had many a comment on this, which I was expecting. Obviously, Lewis and I are not married, and there's been lots of questions about, one, why didn't you get married first? And two, do you want to get married? And all of that kind of stuff. I'll be honest, if you asked me this question 10 years ago, I would have said I want a big white wedding, bigger the better, the fancier the better, fairy tale princess, Disney movie, I want all of the bells and whistles. However, my perception of, not marriage, I still love the idea of marriage. I love the idea of the commitment and the pledge and the celebration with all of your loved ones, but I think my perception of a wedding has changed so very much. And as a content creator, I do feel an extreme pressure, and I know Lewis does, to have a massive engagement ring and a massive wedding, and there's so many eyes on you judging your flowers, your wedding dress, your guest list, like your location and all of these things, and it's so much pressure. And both of us had many conversations about how we wanted to invest into our home first. Everything has gone up in price, whether it's wedding or freaking the price of wood or bricks or cement or whatever. So we made that decision that we wanted to build our kind of foundation of our home first, and we did that, and we're so very happy about that. We felt committed to each other for a long time. I kind of wish Lewis was in this video, but he's out today. We'll have to do another one where he can kind of share his thoughts as well, because I don't want to kind of speak for him. But we have spoken about how we feel very committed to each other already. The thought of a wedding is beautiful, and some of my favourite days and memories have been some of my best friends' weddings. But I've also seen the side of things where it's years of planning and stress, years of financial strain, and just pressure for one day. And as much as I would love Lewis and I to have that, I'm also not opposed to the fact that we've had a baby first. And I think if you asked 16-year-old Steph if she would have a baby before marriage, she categorically would have said absolutely not. But I feel so tied to Lewis and so committed to him and our relationship, and I know he does too, that time will come, and how beautiful that our little one will probably be at that day with us. And that's so not what I saw in my future, but I'm also so at peace with that. The funniest thing is, one of my closest friends FaceTimed me, and when I told her the news, she was like, oh, so are we having a shotgun wedding or are we having a little bastard? And I was like, oh, we're having a little bastard. And we giggled about it, and that's kind of where I'm at in the mindset of marriage. Like, it's really not something that plays on my mind, or I don't feel like this baby is going to be any less loved, or I feel any less loved because Lewis and I aren't married. And I know that's so probably against what a lot of people have views wise, but it's just where we are, and I don't want to put Lewis under pressure to propose, or us to have financial pressure to put on this big wedding that everyone expects us to have. So for the time being, we're just happy as we are. We're in our dream house, we've got our dream baby on the way, and I just feel very happy, content and loved, and I think that's what matters more. Yeah, how have you been feeling? So the morning sickness started, and I was so naive, and my first thought was about the women that are working full-time in an office, not at home, or with other children running around that they need to look after and care for, or full-time carers. I was so debilitated during that time, I can't even explain it. When my sickness was the worst, I was sick 18 times before 12 p.m. and we were rushed to hospital to put me on a drip, and it was absolutely horrendous. And my heart just kept going out to people, because I was like, imagine if I had a child to look after as well. There's no way I would have been able to show up for them. Or I felt so fortunate during that time to have a work situation where I could choose my own hours or reschedule calls and dictate when they were. Everything with careers and social media is very much in my control. But my heart just went out to people that have to show up to work without question. Listen to anyone suffering, like fucking hell, it's horrible. And you just can't, you have no control over it. And as a person whose entire eating disorder and personality is based on being able to control things, it was so confronting. And my friend Sasha throughout the whole thing has been like, this baby is here to heal you, and this baby is here to show you that life is going to be turbulent. In a way, I'm grateful for that, because obviously that's going to happen when the baby arrives. You have no control over when they're going to cry, wake up, poop, need food, whatever it might be. So I feel like I'm hoping that little 3 or 4 month stint of hell has started preparing me for what's to come. But it was horrible, and during that time I was seeing other people who were pregnant in my same situation, and I knew how many weeks they were, and they were out running every day and still living their life as they were before. And some people were just so not affected by morning sickness, and some people are. And the nausea, like, I can't explain it. I just felt like I was on a boat seasick that I couldn't get off, and there was nothing that I could do, and I couldn't keep food down. I think there were weeks where I could manage half a bowl of plain pasta a day. The darkest time was when the only thing I could eat was pasta dipped in ketchup, because I just needed the food, but I needed something to taste, because otherwise I would just vomit it up. And it got to the point where I had so many food aversions that even if I thought about that food, I would be sick. And it was horrible, and I berated myself a lot for it. And during that time, I think I was such a low mood. Everything that I've learnt to cope since having my eating disorder and mental health issues was taken away from me. Like, I couldn't be social, I couldn't go out and get daylight because I literally couldn't move from the bed or the sofa. I couldn't eat healthily because any healthy food was, well, any food in general was making me feel sick. Couldn't stay hydrated because I couldn't keep water down, couldn't move my body. So all of these coping mechanisms, even to the point where a lot of my self-worth comes from my productivity, and I couldn't be productive because I had no energy. All of those coping mechanisms were taken away from me, and I was just left with the chaos of my mind. But during that time, like, I was just very low mood, and I don't really have any solution for it. Like, it just got to a point where it then passed. I can't explain it, but it got to a stage where I just woke up one day and I didn't feel like I was going to be sick straight away, and I felt like I could actually eat breakfast and keep it down, and that was something that was such a celebration. Sadly, hyperemesis can go throughout your entire pregnancy. I mean, look at Em Clarkson, who has documented her journey so openly, and my heart goes out to her because she's also got a little one that she's got to care for and show up for whilst having this extreme sickness. The whole situation was quite triggering, and the only thing that was getting me through was, at the end of it, I get to have this little baby, and we did book in for a few private scans because I was like, I just need to remind myself that this is all worth it. And don't get me wrong, there were some times where I was being sick and I literally was just, Lewis was there, like every time he heard me, he would run upstairs or run to my bucket and like rub my back, and was so sweet during that time. And I would just look at him and be like, you did this to me. So yeah, I'm just very grateful that that has passed. I still get tired, I still don't have the social battery that I did before, but I'm getting to the point now where I can move my body again. I'm getting excited about food again. I don't know if you've noticed, I've started doing more recipe videos online. That is genuinely because I'm so excited by food again for not being able to have it for such a long time. Trying to get some daylight, even though it's getting so much colder and darker, and just trying to slowly feed those positive coping mechanisms back into my life now that I'm feeling a little bit better. So one of the questions was, how has your mental health been after an eating disorder recovery? And I'll be honest, there have been a lot of dark days, and I'm not proud. I can't lie, there's been times where I feel like I've gone backwards, and I thought that there was so much that I'd healed. I don't want to get upset. I thought I'd healed more than I actually have, and there's obviously the sickness side of things, but there's also the body's changing side of things, and there's so much that I didn't know. Like, I didn't know that my hips were going to expand and my legs were going to expand, because apparently that's where you store the fat that produces breast milk, which is beautiful. But it really caught me off guard, where clothes that have always been baggy on me now don't get past my knees. I thought I was just going to grow a belly, but my arms have got bigger, my face has got bigger, and I don't think I realised how much the body image changes would affect me. And that feels a bit embarrassing to say, because I feel like I've been an advocate for recovery for such a long time, and maybe I'm not as recovered as I thought I was. But Lewis has been amazing, and actually in one of our midwife appointments, he kind of brought it up, and the midwife picked up on it straight away, especially when they do, like, the first midwife appointment we had was about an hour and a half, and they went so in depth about your previous mental health struggles, and they actually call you in before your partner comes in with you, and they ask about, do you feel safe with your partner? And there were so many things that I was like, this is amazing. Like, I'm so impressed by the care from the NHS. And someone asked me if I was going through private, and I was like, hell no, we're going through the NHS, and they've been fucking amazing. And anyway, this midwife said, when I was just there feeling so weak and grey, being like, I've really suffered with sickness, she was like, wow, that must be really triggering after your eating disorder. And I was like, do you know what, it really has been. And Lewis brought it up in one of our later midwife appointments, and I have been referred to the mental health team, because it got to the point where I was being so sick, I was so low energy, that there was a part of me, not that resented the baby, like I never ever want baby to feel like I resent them, because I don't, I'm so grateful for them, but I was resenting myself. I can't explain it. Like, I was just frustrated with myself that I didn't love my body, because so many people, like, I've got a friend who absolutely loved her body in pregnancy, and she kept saying to me, like, have you never felt sexier? Do you not feel amazing? And I was like, no, like, this pregnancy glow that everyone tells you get, where the fuck is that? I don't love my body, I'll be honest. Like, it's phenomenal that it can do this amazing thing and grow an entire human. Why do I not love it? And I've just felt this conflict of so many people being like, I'm so proud of my body, and I'm like, why don't I feel like that? Sorry. In recent years, I've always thought it's more beneficial to share from scars than wounds, and this is very much an open wound at the moment, so I don't know how much more openly I want to share about this, because I also feel like it's coming across as so ungrateful, like I've got this amazing journey ahead of me, but yeah, I'm crying because my body's different. If anyone else is watching this pregnant, please can you just let me know if you feel the same, because I just feel very alone. Yeah, I'm gonna go on to the next question, if that's okay. Will you stay plant-based, and will your baby be plant-based? Yes. I haven't had any strong cravings, like I mentioned before. I've had more food aversions and things that kind of make me feel deeply uncomfortable and queasy and nauseous. But if ever I do fancy something, I've noticed that I've gone back to childhood favourites. So things like mashed potato and gravy, or chicken Kievs, or pasta dishes that my mum used to make me and stuff. But everything that I've eaten as a result of that has been plant-based, so there's amazing alternatives now. Like I've had loads of plant-based chicken Kievs, or vegan butter in my mashed potato. Or pastry is something that is just like such a safe food, so I've been having loads of the Just Roll puff pastry sheets that I would just cook in the oven and have with gravy, and they're all plant-based. And the KFC vegan burger is sensational. I still want to be plant-based. I'm still very passionate about this plant-based journey. We will be looking to raise our baby plant-based as well. Obviously baby's needs will always come first, so we're going to be doing as much research into how to make sure that we have a healthy baby. But considering I've been so poorly and also plant-based, even when I've had blood tests and everything like that, they've come back clear and come back really healthy. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that I can be living proof that you can have a healthy plant-based pregnancy. There's so many people that I follow that have too, also have very happy and healthy plant-based babies. Do you have a nutritionist? No, we don't. We definitely think about it, and I think we might think about reaching out to a nutritionist when the baby is here and we start our kind of weaning journey, because like I said, I want to make sure that our baby gets every essential vitamin and mineral and amino acid or whatever, just to make sure that they have the healthiest start to life. Do you feel scared about how your life will change? Yes, but I think I'm scared of change in general. I don't think that it's just because the baby is coming. I think I genuinely do just fear things that I cannot control. Like my friend Sasha said, I do think this baby has been sent to heal me because as much as I fear it, I also know that I cannot control anything that's about to happen, and I know that I am surrounded by love from Lewis, that he is just going to be the most phenomenal dad, and also our family. I feel so surrounded by supportive people that if I do struggle when the baby is here, I know that I have a lot of people to vent to, which is really lovely. The next question is, how has Lou been? It's so hard for me to speak about Lewis because I just want to speak about him in like the most positive light in the world, because I'm just obsessed with him and the way he's treated me and the way he's been throughout this entire journey, and to be honest, our entire relationship. He has been so caring and so kind and compassionate and understanding. And don't get me wrong, the first day that I was like sick multiple times throughout the day, he was like, come on baby girl, it's just a mindset, and I was like, you need to shut the fuck up. Will you be protecting your baby or keeping them private online? Now, this is a big topic that Lewis and I have discussed in depth, and as much as I have been posting my life for the last 10 years, I started posting when I was, God, 18, 19. There's so much that I wish I could go back and not post, and I think I want to give our baby the choice. From being a mum perspective, I think it's something that I would like to document my journey, but I don't feel comfortable documenting baby's journey. I know majority of people are watching with love and affection and a genuine fascination to kind of our lives and our family lives. I have a following of hundreds of thousands of people that not everyone is going to be nice, and I just think if I can protect my baby as much as I can, whether that's their face, their full name. And I think as I've got older, I've definitely started to share less. I say that I've literally just cried and overshared for the last 30 minutes, but I just think I want to protect this baby as much as I can. It's the same with like our due date. It's just like protecting our peace and just having a little bit of bubble wrap around our family. Please tell us you filmed the reaction of your friends and family. I did and I didn't. So the video I've got of my mum, she is not in the video. I put it up like my phone resting up against something and it has cut her off the whole time. So I did share a video onto my Instagram earlier this week of sharing our like family reactions and stuff, but the reaction of my mum in that video is to the first picture of the baby scan, not her actually finding out. And then majority of our friends we filmed, and it was originally just going to be for personal use, but I put together this video just to kind of have this compilation for Lewis and I, and then I was like, this is so cute. So selfishly I have posted it just so that it has a permanent place on my feed. But yeah, it's a bit long. I mean, you don't have to watch it all, it's like a minute and a half, but it brings me a lot of joy. And like I said at the beginning of this video, that's one of my favourite things about pregnancy, is just the bubble of love that we are surrounded in. Pregnancy clothing recommendations. I hate maternity clothes. I did a massive order of things because I was just like, I need to order something because none of my clothes fit anymore. I don't fit in my jeans. There's so much activewear that I don't fit into, so I'll order some activewear maternity leggings, I'll order some jumpers, I'll order some jeans. Hate them all. Anything on top of my bump makes me feel really uncomfortable and constricted, so I've just ordered more like loungewear bits that aren't maternity, that are low-waisted in a size up. So for example, this is a Tala set that I've sized up in, and I feel so cozy and comfortable in that. It's alright if it's like a full body knit dress that is over the bump, but if it's like something, I've always been a high-waisted girly, but if it's something high-waisted, I'm like, get away. So I have ordered, I think the only maternity clothes I've ordered are a pair of jeans from H&M that are like low-rise V-cut that have adjustable waists in it. I'll link them below, but that's the only piece of maternity that I've actually ordered. Everything else, like if I have ordered any other activewear, I've just ordered bits that I know and love in a couple of sizes up. So if anyone does have any good maternity wear recommendations that aren't, like a lot of the jeans have this elasticated thing that comes up all the way to your boobs. I'm like, that feels so uncomfortable. Low-waisted is the way forward until the baby is here. What are you most excited about seeing Lewis become a dad? God, what am I not excited about? We had my friend Lottie come over with her baby Tallulah, and just seeing Lewis hold her, and she was staring at him, and I think it's because he's got a moustache at the moment, and she was like, babe, what's that on your lip? But just their communication and like their little moments, I love this baby already, and I love Lewis already, and seeing them together I'm just so excited about. And he's such a gentle man. I'm really excited to see his kindness. I'm probably going to be the strict parent and Lewis is going to be like the soft one, but I'm really excited to watch that. And whether it's a boy and he teaches them sport, or whether it's a girl and he takes them to ballet, like I know that's so stereotypical, that might not be their interests, but I just know that whatever their interests are, whoever this little person grows up to be, Lewis will be so nurturing of that, and that makes me really happy. Like if it's a little boy that wants to dress up in princess dresses, I know Lewis would be in a princess dress with him, and that makes my heart very, very happy. Will you still train whilst you're pregnant? So yes, I have been training a little bit more now. I have energy, doing things like reformer Pilates, obviously being mindful of the exercises I can't do, bar workouts, walks, a lot of swimming. I feel so light when I swim, but I'm also not putting pressure on myself. I need to remember that I'm growing an entire human, and if the most I can do is literally exist, then that's fine. Obviously my preference would be to try and move my body as much as I can to get ready for labour and also for like post-labour recovery, but the one thing that this journey has taught me is that it's just so inconsistent and you never know how you're going to feel, so you just have to meet yourself where you are. How have you found the NHS care? I touched on this briefly earlier, but I think they've been absolutely brilliant, and I'm very, very grateful for the treatment and the service that we've had so far, and I at this point cannot fault them. Do you have any names, and will you be sharing before they arrive? We do actually have the baby's name. We have agreed on the baby's name, we talk to the baby, call it its name, but we won't be sharing before it arrives. Also, we've not even told our parents, like we just don't want anyone to judge the name, it's our decision, and once that birth certificate is signed, then no one can say anything. How did you tell your close friends and family, and how long did you wait? Now my goal was to tell everyone in person, but I was so sick that wasn't always possible. I think I told my best friend literally the day or two after I found out, after I told my mum and dad, and that was just like an off the cuff, we've been best friends since I was 4, couldn't wait to explode. There were so many of my closest friends that I wanted to tell in person, but it just wasn't possible, so I ended up FaceTiming and either showing them a pregnancy test or the scan pictures and stuff, and that was really, really beautiful. I did wait until we'd had our first scan to tell most people. I just wanted to know that everything was healthy with the baby prior to telling my close friends and family. Told my mum and dad pretty much straight away. Lewis told his dad straight away, and then we drove down together to tell his mum and like his grandparents and stuff. But I think it's just got to be your personal preference. I wanted to wait for that kind of security of first scan, but if you're ready to tell them straight away, then absolutely do it. I would just say that like the love bubble is so special. It's so nice. Were you on birth control before, and if so, how and when did you come off? No, I wasn't on birth control before, and that's kind of why I really thought that having a baby wasn't in my future, because like I said, we hadn't been being careful for 6 years and nothing had happened. Wasn't on birth control, haven't been for about 10 years because it made me a psychopath, and I felt really uncomfortable about pumping my body with this level of hormone, and when I was on it, I didn't feel good on it. So yeah, so I think that answers all of the questions that I was asked. I am going to be speaking about it sporadically on Instagram and on here, kind of documenting the journey, putting together a nursery and things like that, and also researching into what things I definitely need as a mum and what things are just kind of gimmicky and sold to us that we think we need. And that's something that I'm definitely picking the brains of my friends that are mums as well, because I kind of really value their advice and their journeys. But I do just want to say again, like, thank you so much for all of the support and love so far. I really feel like I have overshared in this video, and when editing it, I just know I'm going to cringe massively. I think this is the only time, other than kind of midwife appointments, where I've really opened up about things, and I feel somewhat embarrassed, I'll be honest. So yeah, that's that. It does feel quite vulnerable sharing something so personal on the internet, but I felt so freaking alone in my journey. All I will say is, from my friends that are mums, they say it's the most rewarding and amazing and incredible time. So there is that at the finish line that we can all look forward to. And to anyone else who is currently watching this pregnant, congratulations. I'm sending you so much love, and yeah, good luck with your journey, and I will be in touch with another video very, very soon. Please feel free to leave a comment with any questions I might have missed, as well as hitting the subscribe button just so that you see the future videos. But I'm gonna leave it here, and yeah, sending you loads of love.